minutes have seemed a lot more close together between the six than maybe we've seen in the past. Is that just a small sample size thing, or is that maybe the goal is to get the younger guys in a little bit more and kind of make it more balanced?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a small sample size, and it's really game to game for whatever reasons. And there's, I'm not going to go into it all, but some teams have two really strong, heavy lines. One team relies on one check, so there's a lot of different things. The flow of the game. It's nice to have those big guys with the minutes down a little bit, but I would suspect we'll see them go up before not too long.
What do you think has made Chicago a difficult group for this team to play against this season?
I think every team we play makes it. It seems to be difficult. You know what I mean? It's something where we could play the teams that are top of the league, and it's probably going to be a one-goal game either way. And you can look and say, well, these teams are closer to the bottom of the standings. Go back and look at it. It's usually a one-goal game either way. So we play one-goal games. And when you play one-goal games, it's tight. It can go either way. And, so I don't look at Chicago specifically. I think there's a large sample of teams that we've played they play us good, we play them good, and who knows who's going to win.
Is that maybe something that just comes with the way that you guys have to play to win? It's not going to be a ton of blowouts. It's always going to be that kind of game.
Well, not even how we have to play. A matter of fact of just who we are. You know what I mean? It was great to see us score a bunch of goals in Vegas. Doesn't happen very often. Normally it's low scoring, and so if it's low scoring, the other team's going to be right there with you.
How big is it to cash in on those chances that you do get, particularly early, like in the first half of the game or whatsoever, where maybe you're playing with the lead? I mean, if Laff, if Merrill doesn't make that great play, you're working with a 2-0 lead whatsoever. So how big is cashing in earlier chances?
I think that's critical for our team, and I thought we were off to a good start with Juice's goal in the power play early. Then you need one more. Minnesota plays very similar to us, so there's not going to be a lot of chances either way. We're not going to get a lot, they're not going to get a lot, and we needed that second goal. If we get the second goal, I think we're probably in pretty good shape. We don't like to chase games. We like to be ahead and have other teams chase, and that's a factor of creating more offense. When other teams chase sometimes, they open it up, and then we're pretty good counter-punchers when that comes along.
Are the Blackhawks a little bit different in the instance of, like I said, Minnesota, very structured, very much like you guys, whereas Chicago's kind of, they've got nothing to lose, so to speak, and it can be kind of a little bit of more of a free-for-all type of.
Yeah, I think the one thing they have is dangerous offensive players, and so dangerous offensive players don't need a lot of breakdowns to make you pay, and so I think that's when I see Chicago, that's what they've done to us, over the times this season is we haven't given up a ton of chances, but they've been able to capitalize, and so that's what those high-end offensive players will do for you.
Quinton Byfield is having a good year for you all. Where have you seen the biggest area of growth, I guess maybe is?
It's hard to say one area, particularly in his game, but I would say that the obvious for me is just the maturity and the confidence, especially for a big player. He's a tall guy. Everybody expects you to be big and physical, and you're young. You're just really growing into your body and trying to survive in the league. So it's hard to impose your will when you're doing those two things. But now I think he's got enough confidence. You can see him play more physical, and he just feels like a bigger presence.
On the in the overall game, how much are you seeing the effect of him with Kopitar last season, and then transitioning back to center?
Right. Well, that really helped him. I think you play with Kopi and you realize shift after shift the consistency required to play with him. So there's all those things just sitting on the bench with him that rub off, and now he's off in center ice, and now he's starting his own path. Right. He's cut through that, and he's starting to do a really good job.
It's paraphrasing, I think, something Q said the other day, and it's probably towards this, and even your answer. Overtime, he kind of was scared of it before. Now he says he wants it.
Right. Yeah, that's just comes with reps and over time, and not arriving too soon where you're supposed to be that guy, and then it doesn't go good, and that can push you back even further. It's when the time is right, and you get there. You feel good, and now you start to impose your will. And we've seen it before. I've been part of it sometimes when you get that early, and then you get on your heels. You just don't feel good about it. And now he's thriving. And I'm sure he expects if it goes on to overtime, he's going to go and he's going to score. No greater feeling than that.
To have, off of what Trey said about Q, to have Kobe as basically the very definition of two-way play, and Phil Deneau is also another example too. I know much has been made about what's Q's offensive ceiling, all that whatsoever, but to be able to stay in this league and have a long career playing center, those got to be the two perfect examples for him.
Well, they really are. They really are, because you contribute to the game in a couple different ways, offensively and defensively. There's two ways you can contribute. I think everybody likes to look just offensively because that's the easiest thing to measure. Hey, let me look at the stat sheet. Okay, he's good, he's bad. But the game is about offense and defense. So those two, Kopitar and Deneau, contribute to the game very strongly in a defensive way. It doesn't show up all the time in a piece of paper with stats. So Q has learned that that's important, because he doesn't want to give everything he gets offensively, give it back defensively. Your net zero doesn't really work, right? So I think he's understood from those two that I can make a strong defensive contribution and then add a strong offensive contribution. That's where you have these guys like Kopitar and Deneau. They play that style of game, have that mentality, and we're lucky that Q is going down the same path, because he'll lead that for somebody who's coming behind him. We don't even know who it is yet.
You got that print, you think of that just a stronger foundation, even a
Sure.
stronger base to build off of.
You actually end up contributing more, because you contribute this much and then this much instead of just this much.
Right.
And taking away a little bit, now you're down here. So, it's a really, really important part of the franchise going forward, is to have another player with that type of mentality to show the guys coming up and behind, how you play the game.